Hi, everybody.
You get the comfy chair.
All right. Hang on a sec. We'll get started here. Somebody's calling in.
Oh, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I agreed. Yeah, we're supposed to make an association. So my stepson.
You look like a fellow who was going to give a TED talk. I don't know why, but you look like a Chris. And just like a ray of light hitting you.
Oh, okay, good.
So did I do it when you did TED Talk?
I'm pretty sure it's and she, I'll remember her name.
I was thinking
Okay. I'm going to wait just 1 minute. Oh, there he is. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi. Welcome. Welcome. Happy New Year to everybody. This is the first Team U Saturday meeting of 2020. We have 2020 vision going into this beautiful, amazing year. It's going to be a powerful one. Thank you all for coming. My name is Ipek. Along with my husband, Craig, we welcome you to our home. Please let us know if you need anything. The bathroom is down the hall. We have some water. Excited to see so many beautiful faces in the room. Thank you for being here. Each and every Saturday, we meet here in our home and talk about how we can grow personally and professionally. It is my honor to bring on my husband, who will kick off our meeting. Craig is an incredible person. Many of you have had the pleasure of working with him. He is hardworking. He is determined. We have a baby on the way, so he is working his booty off. And I'm so proud to have him come and present to you guys. Thank you so much.
Lipstick smudged. Hey Zap, can you do me a favor? Can you share this feed from Public Team U to our, you know what I'm trying to say. Let's do that. Give it up for my wife, Ipek. It's not easy to get in front of a room and speak, right? Especially when you asked her to do it like 3 seconds ago. And I was like, hey, can you open the room real quick? And she was like, sure, let's do it. I think it's amazing. First of all, thank you all for being in our home. We greatly appreciate you being here. Each and every Saturday morning, you can find us right here. And we're going to talk about Euphoria Science. If you're not familiar with Euphoria Science or the product that you're about to hear about, I am awfully excited for you to see some information that has just absolutely changed my life. It's changed my life because of the company and the trajectory of where it's going, the people that are involved, and I think the time and the place where we are as the human race and as our culture and the science and technology that we know and understand today, we're kind of sitting at the tip of the spear, the cutting edge of where technology is coming as I see stem cell therapy on your jack. I mean, just, right? How on point are we where, from a science and technology standpoint, we can really take our health and wellness into our own hands and truly customize it? I know I'm sitting with some people here in the room that have done more on their body to know how it functions and more knowledge about the human genome and genetics. I'm here to tell you that all that level of expertise that many of you have is fantastic, and it's nice to be able to soak that up. It's also not that necessary to understand what we're working on. You're sitting before you a team of people that are determined to change our destiny and the destiny of the people that are around us. We are determined to help and support those around us to hop on to the bandwagon, if you will, of something called DNA wellness. And DNA wellness as an industry is projected to be $620 billion next year. Right, almost out of nowhere. 25 years ago, they mapped the human genome. Around 2003, actually, they mapped the human genome. Since then, we've been getting better and better and better at making it less and less expensive, making it more and more understandable, and understanding more and more about how our bodies interact with the environment around us. So my story real quick, I have this beautiful and amazing wife who's pregnant. We have a baby girl on the way, which is super exciting. And 7 years ago, Ipek got sick, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. Like so many other people that go to doctors on a regular basis to find out what's wrong, we couldn't figure out what was wrong. And the symptoms were actually pretty alarming. All of her lymph nodes from her waist up were swollen. She was getting these cysts on her face, and she would lose her voice after a couple days of, we used to drink beer, and after a couple days of drinking beer, she would lose her voice. Welcome, welcome. And doctor after doctor couldn't tell us what was wrong, and it was actually pretty alarming for us. In the end, it wound up being gluten. We removed gluten from her diet, and overnight, all of the symptoms went away, pretty much like clockwork. It was actually pretty remarkable. This led us to this deep dive to better understand all of the food that we put in our body, and really understanding all of the different aspects of how this body interacts with the world around us. So we really got to understand and be careful and cautious of what we put in our mouth, what we put on our skin, and what we keep in the air around us. And that has to obviously do with everything that we eat and drink. It has to do with the air that we breathe, the environment that we sit in. You're sitting in an environment that is as detoxified as it possibly could be. There's diffusers that are running in the back. We cleanse the water, we cleanse the air. Everything that's happening here has a very specific intention. And this has been a 7-year journey for us. So that led me down this rabbit hole of understanding every morsel of food that we put in our body, and more importantly, how the body interacts with that. Now that's knowledge that I can share with you, and I'm happy to teach and train. But at the time, this was about 1.5 years ago when I found out about the same information that you found out about. And in fact, I was parked outside of our friend's Hallie's house. My wife and I lived full-time in a motorhome for 26 months, traveling all over the country, teaching and training on vibroacoustics, which is what this does. So I've been involved in frequency therapy, sound light therapy for quite a long time. And I've been focused on optimal human performance. So I want to understand not just how I can feel better today than I did yesterday, but how I can actually get this body functioning to its fullest. And make sure that every day I could charge as hard as possible to take advantage of what this body is capable of doing. And not only do that for today, tomorrow, but to do that for as far and as long as I can into the future. So I was parked outside of Hallie's house, and I got introduced to Michael Zappia, a gentleman who you're going to meet today, and you're going to hear an awful lot about today. And he says, hey, tomorrow morning I'm going to meet with the CEO of a DNA-based nutrition company. And I perked up, because I'm familiar with what you do, at least what's on your shirt, and I'm familiar with this body and what's going on with science and technology in that space. And I've been following genetics, which is the study of the human genome, mapping our DNA. I've been studying epigenetics, which is the ability to your environment, right? Nature versus nurture. Conversation's over. It's both. It's what you were given, and it's the environment that you put it in. And I've been studying something called nutrigenomics, which is the study of nutrition and genes. So food and how it influences our genes. Really simple concepts that have a lot of research that's really on the forefront. Michael and I, we geeked out for 4 hours on diet and nutrition. You're going to hear about his background in just a little while. And the next morning, he drove up to meet Ron Williams. And I began to learn about a company and a process that got me to be very, very excited about where we are and why I have 25 people sitting in my living room on a Saturday morning for us to talk about that. And I know many of you have heard my story. I know many of you have heard me share a little bit about this company, but I want to introduce you to somebody that I've been working very closely with for the last 8-9 months. This is somebody that has a lot of fun, somebody that smiles and laughs on a regular basis. He's been involved in this company since the very beginning. He's exceptionally knowledgeable about the people that are involved in what we're building here. He's been here pretty much since the beginning, and he's watched the entire company grow and build. And I'm really excited to share with somebody who has had a remarkable experience on this product as well, and somebody that I've really begun to enjoy the company, Carol and Shane Lamb. So Shane, I want to bring you up here. Shane, please, give it up.
Thank you. Awesome. Welcome everybody in the room. We got a full house here. Wow, exciting. So, the company. So basically 25 years ago, some elite scientists got together and they started working on this. They wanted to figure out how they're going to put together working with DNA and how to help people through that. And so this didn't start yesterday. It's been going on. So about 10, 12 years ago, they brought the product out. It did really, really well. But lo and behold, they were putting the formulas together by hand. So they got about 40,000 people on the product. They were all doing really, really well. And they got way behind. And so they had to stop because the customers were upset. I mean, if you order a product and it's not coming in 6 months or something, you're going to be a little upset. So they realized they had to shelf it and figure something else. We'll get back to it. Well, along comes a gentleman by the name of Terry LaCour. Now, Terry's kind of like the heavy hitter in direct sales with the back office and that, and putting things together, and he sees it. And he's like, wow, what is this? Why is this just sitting here? And he gets the story about how put together by hand, and he immediately says to himself, we've got to automate this. If we can automate this, wow, game over. Well, he gets together with some engineers, brings in the scientists, gobbles everything up, puts it all in one box and says, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to figure it out. Well, in the summer of 2018, they figured it out. They had the machine ready to go. It's in Texas. It's about 150,000 square feet. The machine's incredible. So that's in place now. But Terry says, okay, I'm not the guy to take this to the masses. That's not really who I am. But he knew who that was. And that was Ron Williams. So Terry and Ron knew each other and through some other businesses. And so he knew Ron was the guy. Ron was in St. George, Utah, but he was retired, been retired for about 2 years, just kind of hanging out with his wife and kids, playing football, doing the things he loved. He's been in this industry about 28 years, have just been incredibly successful. And Terry knew he was the guy. So he invites Ron to come and look at it. But knowing that, he knew Ron's background. He says, Bud, I know you're retired. I get it. But I really believe you're going to want to see this. Please just come look. So Ron comes to look. And they invite a gentleman by the name of Chavez to come and be a consultant at the same time. So they're all there in the same place in Texas, seeing the machine, checking it out, talking about the company and what it is and where it's going to go. And Ron's like, yep, wow, I can't miss this. I've been involved in this my whole life, and here it is. This is exactly what we've been looking for with the DNA and the nutrition and what it's going to do for people. All right, I'm on board. We're going to do it. So Terry says, Travis says, wow, I'm a consultant, but I've got to be, I got to be a rep. This is going to be wild. I know it. I know it is. So Terry gets in and comes back to Phoenix. This is all Travis, back in about August, September, in that area. He sends a text to his buddy Mike Zappia. And Mike's one of the very first people to even see it through Travis. Same thing, Travis knew Mike, Mike knew Travis. They respected each other. Mike still has the call on his phone. He'll probably play it for you. So he sends him that text. And Mike wasn't looking. He wasn't looking. He was busy doing his own thing, but he respected Travis and took a look at it. He's like, whoa, yes, okay. But Mike didn't just say, okay, I'm going to do it. He goes, I got to do my due diligence. I got to go up and meet Ron in St. George. I got to look him in the eye. Because sometimes It's that important. Think about it. If you start bringing your family and friends and your best buddies and the people that you respect into this, you better know it's real. Right? And that's the truth. Because in this world today, folks, do you want to mess around with people that screw you over? We get that, don't we, every now and then? And do you like it? Do you walk away going, God, it was so freaking great that guy just took me. I love that. That was awesome. I just got juked for $100, man. Good for you. We don't do that, do we? We get pissed. Well, Mike was like, hey, I've done this before. I can't just do this on a whim. So he gets a hold of Hallie Gillen, good friend at the time, and they'd always talked about this. They dreamed about this, about working together. So Hallie and Mike drive up the next day and meet Ron. And they look him in the eye. And they were really surprised. Because they were ready to see a CEO, you know, a jerk. A guy that makes a ton of money and wears big rings and drives big cars and goes, well, I'll talk to you if I got a chance. You know, one of those guys. That's what they were expecting, but that's not what they got. They got a guy that, you know, is just a great guy. He really is. I mean, when you meet this man, you just realize that he's real. He's just a real guy. They drove home. And they're in the car, and they're just like, they didn't say anything for a while. And finally, they're just like, what'd you think? And like, wow, I love this guy. We're going to do this. We're going to kill it. And they have. Trust me. They're, right now in this company, they're really, really rocking it. So what you're going to see today is you're going to see something real. Something that's really working for people. I can tell you that because it's working for me. It's done great things for me in 1 year. I've been on the product for a year. And it's been phenomenal for me. I'm not going to take any more time about that. But that's how we got involved with this company, okay? And the company has what people need, no doubt about it. This is not some weird lotion and potion. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this isn't that. This is much, much more, okay? So I'm going to bring Mike up. He's going to tell you about the product. And I'm telling you, this guy knows what he's doing. Absolutely. I won't tell you his numbers, but he's got about 5 or 6 people involved so far. He's killing it. Times a little bit more. I'm telling you, the guy's just crushing it. I met him the day I got in. He was there at the meeting I saw, and then I got to sit down with him the next day for about an hour. And wow, I was just blown away and really excited about doing this. So anyway, let's bring up Mike, and he'll tell you about the product.
Shane's crying because he's so grateful for the day he met me. I love Shane. And nothing better than seeing a big macho guy break down, right? Love you, Shane. You know, when I first met Shane, am I on the screen? Okay. When I first met Shane, he was sitting to the left of me, and I felt like a fire burning next to me. You ever feel someone's energy? Shane was the guy that just literally felt his energy. But how you doing? What's your name? Tiffany? Nice to meet you. You have great energy. But Shane was great too, but it was just a little strange for me because I didn't know if he wanted to punch me or hug me. I couldn't. You ever get that? And he had this look on his face like, and I remember presenting that night. It was to a size about this big, and I kept looking at him like, I think this guy wants to knock me out. I'm pretty sure he wanted to knock me out. And come to find out, when the meeting was over, he basically said, I've been waiting a long time for this. He was like just calculating how he was feeling. And he goes, I've been waiting a long time for this. I'm in. Let's go. I mean, if everyone was like Shane, this would be the easiest business in the world. Seriously. 40 minutes later, he's in. He's been working his tail off. He's one of the top people in the whole company, in my opinion. Him and his wife, Carol, beautiful couple. If you guys don't know them, please get to know them. But to me, you know what? This is all about relationships. You know, that's a great story that he told. And we are, just to clarify what Shane was saying, we are on the ground floor of what is arguably the most significant wellness company in the history of the world. And I'm about to show you a very simple explanation of why we feel that way. It's not just me. But we're in the beginning of something huge. And this is 2020. This is a great year for this, 2020 vision. You guys know the expression, 2020 vision. We have a vision as a group of people called Team U to take this to the masses this year, and it's never coming back after this. So how many of you guys know what the word momentum means? Raise your hand if you know what momentum is. You do? And has anybody in this room ever experienced momentum in their life? Anybody but show of hands. Yes, you have? What's your name, sir?
Greg.
Greg. What momentum did you experience in your life?
Well, it's been in the last few months.
What is it?
Basically, it started with a mindset change
Uh-huh.
and getting reacquainted to things that I've been trained in previously and realizing that they work. So it's like, it's the discovery of, I already know that, and why am I not using it?
It's called an aha moment. Yeah.
Yeah, so and then from there, the momentum is moving forward. That's why I'm here today.
Right on. Very cool. Who invited you? Esther? Well, that's all. Well, Greg, right?
And I know Bernlin too.
And you know, everyone knows Bernalin. It's everyone in Vegas knows Bernalin. It's one of the most frustrating things in the world to me is how does everyone know Bernalin? It's one of those things. Anyway, well, great to have you. So what Greg was explaining to you guys is he's experiencing personal momentum right now. The momentum that I'm talking about is momentum with a product or an idea. You guys heard of the pet rock. You've heard of Trivial Pursuit. You guys have heard of a lot of things that have hit our world. And at one point, it was just a story that nobody knew about. The pet rock always blows my mind. I think if that company made it, then we got a shot with just about anything in the world, right? Like we could be introducing you to squishy poop type thing right now, and then squishy poop thing might move throughout a marketplace. I mean, my son's 4 years old. He loves poop. Anything with poop or passing gas, it's the greatest thing in the world. So we should all forget about euphoria and invent a poop thing or something. But what I'm getting at is momentum. Momentum is something that happens in the life of an idea. So every idea has gotten to a point where it's hit momentum. Apple. You guys remember when there wasn't an Apple phone? You guys remember the iPod? I mean, that was like a novelty, right? Put your music in there. But then didn't it seem like overnight everyone had an iPhone? And now I think iPhone dominates the world. I'm sorry, Samsung users and Android users. This is not a religious battle over what kind of phone you prefer, just so you know. I want to make sure we don't get into that conversation. Because you can get people to hate you because you have the phone that they don't have. But anyways, momentum. When momentum takes off for an idea, it never comes back. And this company you're about to hear about today in this beautiful little home here is about to hit momentum within the next 6 to 9 months. And what that means is every single person you know is going to hear about what we're here to show you today. Now, here's the best part about this conversation. Nobody knows about it right now. When I say nobody, we're at about 25 to 30,000 people in the world that have heard the story that Shane just told you and heard what we're about to show you right now, and they said, you know what, this is going to be huge. I want to be a part of it. So let me share with you what that is. We basically, and the reason why Craig wanted me to do the presentation is because I'm not that smart. This was on purpose. See, there's a lot of people in this room that are much smarter than me, meaning that I can tell, I don't know you yet, but I know you're smarter than me. I can just tell by the way you're posture. When I do this presentation, I'm like, this guy's really not that good at this. That's okay. There's a reason for this. What's your name?
Josh.
Josh, I'm Michael. Nice to meet you. But you seem like a very intelligent person. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and call me a dummy. I'm just saying I don't know everything about everything. I know a little bit about a lot. So when I first heard about this, and I watched a 40-minute webinar on YouTube that only 62 people saw at the time a year ago, I looked at it and went, oh, man, this is going to be big. It was just that moment for me. And you guys all have your moment, and maybe you're going to have your moment here in the next 5 minutes. But for me, when I heard what I'm about to show you, I literally started pulling my hair out going, oh, and I was really busy. Is anybody busy here? I was super busy. I had no time to take on any other projects, businesses. If you get to know me, I've got way too much going on. More than any one human being could possibly handle. I'm that guy, that shiny ball syndrome. I see something new, I go run and do that. it's always been like that. I own a game on the internet. I invented a stand for your phone. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I love life, and I love people, and I love too many things. So when I saw this, I go, I don't have any time for this, but I got to know more. got on the phone with the CEO, and I basically got a rundown as to what we have. What we basically have is we have a kit. And inside this kit, just like 23andMe and Ancestry.com, there's some cotton swabs. And you guys know this drill, right? You stick them in your mouth and you scrape the inside of your cheeks, and that actually pulls off your DNA. How this works, I can't explain to you. I don't understand how this works. If it were up to me, we wouldn't have cars right now. I have no idea how the engine works. Get me to change the oil, it would be the biggest leap of faith in the world. I don't know how to do anything mechanical. The wheel, I think I could have invented the wheel. We go back 10,000 years, I think I could have come up with the wheel. I'm pretty sure I would have got the round thing down. Okay, this puts something in motion. To get an engine to work, I have no idea. So how the cotton swabs work, I don't know. I just know that they scrape your cheek and then all of a sudden they get your DNA. Isn't that crazy? Well, we're in that world today. When we scrape the insides of your cheek and we create a DNA test for you, we test over 600,000 of your genes. As much, if not more, than all the other companies out there that test DNA. The one thing we do, though, instead of just letting you know who your parents are, where you came from, or what your originations are, or your ethnicity, we actually break down the most important things in your body that make you you, that you need to be concerned about, that we need to be concerned about. We break down what we call SNPs. This is the only intelligent thing I'm going to say this morning. A SNP is a single nucleotide polymorphism. You can write that down. Single nucleotide polymorphism. It took me 4 months to learn that, just so you guys know. I had to listen to people like Hallie and really smart people. It's like, what the frick is a SNP? Basically, a SNP is just another name for your gene. What makes your eyes the color that they are, that's a genetic SNP. It's a gene, right? That makes sense? So we break down 18 of your SNPs, 18 of your genes, and these have to do with your blood pressure, detoxification, healthy weight management, vitamin B12, oxidative stress, your immune system, your inflammatory system, your homocysteine healthy heart. Still don't know what homocysteine is. Just makes me sound cool when I say that word. CoQ10 energy, vitamin D receptor, healthy inflammatories, free radical defense. The important things I just mentioned, yes? We know exactly what those are, and we know if you got those genes or SNPs from your mom and dad, your mom or dad, or neither of your parents. So this isn't the Jerry Springer company, meaning we're not going to tell you which parent gave you which SNP. Otherwise, we know you'd run home to mom and dad and be like, thanks, Mom, for giving me the healthy blood pressure SNP. And then you'd be cursing out your mother. That's why I'm going to die in 10 years. But we rank everything based on a color system. Green, yellow, red, like a little traffic signal. Green means you didn't get that genetic trait from either of your parents. Yes. Yellow means you got it from one of your parents. Red means you got it from both of your parents. Does that make sense? And we give you this beautiful 35-page digital report. We print them out here in town if you want one. I think this is one of the coolest parts of the company. I have 2 copies myself. And I go everywhere with this thing. And when I meet people, I'm like, check this out. How would you like to have the dashboard for your health and wellness? Wouldn't that be cool? So for the first time, we can do that. And what this company does, the beautiful thing about this whole presentation today is you don't have to know anything that I'm saying. You don't have to know what the FTO gene is and what the purpose of it is, but you can if you want to read it. It's written for the average person to understand it. I do understand this, by the way. But the beauty is the company is, within 3 weeks, going to send you your own custom formula. And you have your own supplement facts based on your product. It lets you know every one of the up to 100 ingredients that come in your container. We give you a container with your name on the label. You guys see that? That's Craig's formula. And there's Craig's barcode. And that machine that Shane was talking about earlier, there's only one machine in the world like it. We're the only company in the world that does this. That machine will take this container, it will literally, it's amazing. Craig saw it for the first time 2 weeks ago. It literally drops to the microgram a dose of every one of those ingredients that you need based on your genetics. Sound good? Like, that's the story. And it's not that hard to learn that story. Your name on the label, DNA test, give you a 35-page report, tell you what you need to be concerned about. And even if you know nothing about that, we're going to ship you out a container with your name on the label, and this is what your body's asking for. So for the first time in the world, your body has a voice. Now, are there companies out there that can do this? First objection that you're going to get. Yes, there are. And they're going to charge you an arm and a leg to get it done. Meaning you can go to a local geneticist in your town. There's geneticists and nutrigenomic experts that know how to do a DNA test. They charge you hundreds of dollars an hour for their time, thousands of dollars for their test, and then watch this. As soon as they get the information that they can get from a DNA test, they would say to you, okay, now you need to go to GNC or you need to go to the internet and go buy all these ingredients. Good luck with that. You'll spend about $2,000 to get in your container what we do for $159 a month. Pretty cool? So the fact of the matter is, are we at a point in time where DNA is out there? Of course DNA is out there. But the one thing that Euphoria is doing that nobody in the world is doing is we've made it cost effective, simple, and easy enough for all of us to have our own custom formula for $160 a month. So let's talk about the cost of the product. It's $160 a month. That breaks down to about $6 a day because with taxes and shipping, it's a little more than $160. We don't like to lie or sugarcoat anything to anybody. You're going to pay $6 a day for your own custom formula. You guys think it's worth it? I don't know. I spend almost $1,000 a month on my car. How much am I willing to spend on Michael? You ever think about that for a second? We live in a world where so many people spend so much money on things that aren't even for them personally. But then when we come to talking about this is just for you, it's going to help fill the holes in your genetic profile so that you can live a longer, healthier, happier life. Make sense? But here's me with over $1,000 a month in car expenses between insurance and my car payment. I don't balk at that for a second. So when people say to me, oh, $160, that's too expensive. I say, is it too expensive or can you just not afford it? Let's take a second there. Is it too expensive or you just can't afford it? Because there's a big difference. What's expensive to somebody might not be expensive to somebody else, right? But for the person who looks at $160 a month, and this is not a sales pitch, if you were my mother or best friend, I'd say, listen, give me your bank statement for the past 3 months and a highlighter. And I'm going to find $160 that you wasted. Who agrees that that's possible with every single one of us? I can find $160 from any checking account in this room, guaranteed, and I can do it in the blink of an eye. Anybody tells me they can't afford $160 a month, I'll show you, really, Starbucks every day for a month? That's interesting. That's incredible. $6 latte. Oh, and you bought a muffin too. That came to $11.49 every day. That was $300 this month at Starbucks. Do I need to go on? Don't have to. So $160, but here's the cool thing. We have what we call a customer referral program. Part of the cool part of this company is we're a word-of-mouth company. So one of the things that this genius CEO came up with is when you take this product, if you share it with other people, we knock 25% off the cost of your product. So I pay $160, but then I share it with Farron, right? And Farron buys it through me. I have my own website with Euphoria. When she does, she becomes my customer. Zap, 25% off the cost of my product. I share it with the second person, Mary. I share it with Mary. Mary buys from me on my website. Now I knock 50% off the cost of my product. If I share it with a third person and I take it over here and then a fourth person, my product is completely free. Well, I still pay shipping and handling and taxes, but who would like to get their own DNA nutrition formula for free? How many people think you know at least 10 people right now that would like to be on a formula that was made for them? 10 people that are really concerned about their health and wellness. Anybody else? I've been going almost 100% vegan for the past 3-4 weeks since I care about my health. Now, I'm not losing the weight as fast as Mike Chavez is, so I'm wondering if I'm just eating the wrong vegetables. I got to find, maybe I'm eating the fat vegetables. I don't know what's going on here. But anyway, yeah, probably too much carbs. So anyways, that's this. Now, that's the customer side of this. But we'll close this part of the presentation with the business side of this because there's a business. We didn't get here just to talk about the product. We got here to talk about a business. We have a team called Team U, and Team U stands for Team Euphoria. And right now we're about almost 3,200 people strong across the country. We make up roughly 15%, 20% of the active volume in the company Euphoria right now. So right here in Vegas is the #1 organization in the whole company, and it's because of all the people you see in the room here that are going out there sharing a simple story about a DNA company and a team of people that are putting a system in place to take this to the masses. The business side, $39. That's it. $39 whopping dollars a month. Nope, a year. For $39 a year, you get your own membership to Euphoria, and you become what we call, instead of a nutritionist, you become a nutritionist. We just dropped the N. I think it's pretty clever marketing. Euphoria, there's the U, it's all about you. We've got some really cool marketing ideas. You become a nutritionist. When you become a nutritionist, that's when you get 2 beautiful websites. 3 websites. One website you can market to everyday ordinary people who want to be a customer. Second website, you can market to people who not only want to be a customer, but they want to make some money. They want to be a referral partner as well. That's called a nutritionist. The third website you get is called Practrician. And practitioner is the line of this product that we have just come out with for doctors and practitioners. So if you happen to know a doctor or a functional medicine doctor or somebody that is in the practitioner world, a chiropractor, a nurse practitioner, an RN, anybody that wears these kind of outfits that this gentleman right here is wearing, the scrubs. If you see anyone wearing scrubs, that's a sign. Talk to them. They want to know about practitioner. And now we can take this to all the doctors and all the people that are working with the masses as far as putting them on drugs. And how about putting somebody on something that's actually good for them? How many people think that we're going to find doctors that are going to love the fact that they could put their patients on DNA nutrition? Guys, we're sitting on a gold mine. There's not a company in the world doing what I just said. I literally think we could start a fleet of nutraceutical reps instead of pharmaceutical reps. I really think that if you wanted to focus on just calling pharmaceutical reps and asking them one question, how do you feel about selling people drugs all day long? Just me personally, from a moral perspective, I couldn't be a pharmaceutical rep. I couldn't. You know what I couldn't do? I couldn't own a casino. I couldn't own a liquor store. You guys feel my vibe right now? I'm telling you, I don't have it in my being to introduce people to things that I know are actually killing or hurting them. Gambling's an addiction. If you told me the MGM Grand wants Michael Zappi to be the CEO and owner tomorrow, I would have the hardest decision in the world because you'd probably pay me a lot of money. But if I'm going to support a gambling addiction for tens of thousands or millions of people, then what does that mean for me? Liquor store. You're not going to see Zapp's liquor store anytime soon. Wow, did you hear about that accident on the 215? 10-car pileup, 8 people died. Where'd they get their liquor? Zapp's. Oh, how good would I feel going to bed at night? If you're anything like me, I got to be involved with something that's good. I got to be involved with something that's for the greater good. Do you guys agree with that? I got to be a part of something that I absolutely believe that when I share it with you, I could put my head down on my pillow at night and go, I did a good thing today. I'd rather be on the side of the road, broke as can be, with a sign around my neck asking for money than be involved with anything that's not legitimate or good for the greater good of this world. That's just me. And I think I happen to hang out with people who are a lot like me. So I could feel your energy, guys. I know we're the same. So that's Euphoria. We want to pay, the company wants to pay us to share the news about this company. Yes, it's network marketing. How many people don't know what network marketing is? Good, we've gotten to the point where everyone knows. I've been in the profession 17 years. I've never had anybody not raise their hand to that question. We finally arrived. Holy cow. Yeah, that's a reason to get excited. Yes, it's the industry where you annoy your friends and family so much until they block you and never talk to you again, or they buy your product, right? That's the business. No, wrong. That's what it is for a lot of people. But I'll close this part of our presentation because we're going to jump into a teaching session today, and I'm really excited to hear what Craig and Shane and Mike Chavez do for you all today. So just give me a few minutes. I want to kind of bring this all to a close. First of all, I want to announce this before I go into this wrap up here. Next week, Saturday, right down the street on Rainbow and 215, there's a place called the Meeting Space. And we just rented it out next Saturday from 10 till 2. It fits anywhere from 100 to 150 people. We have roughly almost 1,000 people in Vegas that know about Euphoria. We're going to put it out an APB to every single one of them. We're having a kickoff event next week. I know it's short notice, but if this business sounds good to you, we're going to teach you today how to invite people to show up to be there and how to kickstart your new business with Euphoria. It's going to be from 10 to 2 next Saturday, the Meeting Space. Craig will give you all that information, and it's on our Facebook page. So let me kind of just speak from my heart just for a second, although everything I've said is from my heart. I've been in this profession for 17 years. It changed my life. A perfect stranger. That's why I love Farron's story. We just met her less than 48 hours ago, and she's sitting on this "How do you feel about life" couch in Craig's house. But I love hearing your story, and I love connecting with you, and you as well, Mary. It's been a pleasure to get to know you guys before the meeting. But my whole life changed because a complete stranger walked up to me at a local gym in Las Vegas, Nevada. 17 years ago, right around October 1st, 2002, I was a personal trainer working at the gym. I was training to get back in the National Football League. I was a Seattle Seahawk for roughly 8 days in the year 2000. They let me go. And my lifelong dream was to play professional football. I'm sure like a lot of you guys and girls here, you had big dreams when you were younger, yes? Is everyone still here a dreamer? Yes. Okay, we could do a whole session on dreams. But I wanted a change in my life. And this guy came out of nowhere and said, man, I like you, and what are you about, and would you take a look at a business? I said, yeah, I would. I'm looking for something. And that day changed the trajectory of my whole life. Like, my whole life completely changed. After I met him, I met another man who introduced me to another man who made about $100 million in this kind of a business. And I've been telling people for 17 years, which is why I love this part of my story, I've been telling people, what's your DNA when it comes to network marketing? 17 years now. It was way before Euphoria came into my life, so I think I manifested this company. But I've been asking people, what's your DNA? Because a lot of people, I ask them, what do you know about network marketing? And they go, and they make that look on their face. And I go, I know what your DNA is already. You got a bunch of red snips on your DNA report, right? And I look at me, and they get that, this my cousin was doing that thing and called me for like 6 years straight, and I had to kill him. Then I went to jail. Okay, so that was your DNA. Oh, I got network marketing, and that thing doesn't work. Interesting, doesn't work, huh? Were there people in the company that did well that you joined? Oh, yeah, there are people that made millions. Who didn't it work for? You, it didn't work for you. Okay, can I challenge you for a second? Did you work? The first thing I always ask people is, did you work? Because this is a business where if you work it, you get paid. There's no rocket science here. Share this with 50 people like I did, and you'll have 3,000 people in your network, and you'll be making close to 10 grand a month. Who's in on that? I could teach you. That's what we're going to teach you, is how to do exactly what I've done to get to this point. And pretty soon it'll be 30,000 people, and my life will be completely changed. But my DNA when I got into this profession was different from most people. You see, I met a guy who made $100 million, and I was in his 13,000 square foot home here in Vegas, and he was introduced to me as the Michael Jordan of this industry. And he had multiple levels of his house. He even had a basement in Las Vegas, which is really weird, because last time I checked, real estate agents, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't make basements in Vegas, but they do if you have enough money. If you have enough money, you can get a basement in Las Vegas. This is crazy. I can't believe it. This guy had a basement. You know what was in his basement? A racquetball court. And I love racquetball. And when I walked into this man's house, I'm going to kind of take you guys on a little journey here. And I walked into his house, and I saw pictures of him and his wife with the president, and just like I'm looking at these pictures on the wall, not like these pictures. These are much different from Richard's pictures. But when I'm looking around his house, and I'm seeing these plush furniture, and we go out in the garage, for whatever reason, there was 3 Rolls Royces, and then I saw the racquetball court. The racquetball court was the vomit point for me. Like, as if this guy didn't need anything else, he had my favorite game in his house. And I walked into racquetball court, and if you guys don't even know what racquetball is yet, there wasn't a blue mark on the wall. And it made me mad. I'm like, dude, we need to break this thing in. Like, someone's got to play racquetball in this house. So I quickly took my dress shoes off, and in my socks, I'm just banging the ball around, attempting to scuff his walls because it bothered me. And I'm like, do you use this? Like, what is this here for, Richard? And Richard's 62 years old. He's not in the best shape, and I know he didn't spend a day in the racquetball court. And but here I was, 28 years old, highly impressionable, and I said, I want this. I want this. I want this lifestyle. And I'll do whatever it takes to have it. And he looked at me, whatever it takes? I said, yeah, you better believe it. And he said to me, you want me to mentor you? I said, yes, sir. So if you're taking notes, write this down. What you guys are sitting in front of right now is quite possibly the biggest business opportunity that's ever going to cross your desk. Right here. What you do with Euphoria is totally up to you. You will deal with the repercussions of whether or not you gave it everything you could or you didn't. I'm telling you, scores of millionaires are going to be made from this company. Scores. That's not hype. That isn't over-promising or under-delivering, because I will tell you, not many, as far as percentages, are going to make it with this company, as far as make it, right? But there'll be about 2 to 5% that turn this into a ridiculous fortune for themselves. How can I say this to you? I've been here before. I was on the ground floor of a company years ago that should have been YouTube and Skype that missed the mark. But I took it to 50 million in sales by building a team just like we're doing here today until it spread around the world. And I was making over 100 grand a month, made millions with that company, and you had to pinch me back then. I'm serious. Every day I call, I'm like, Mom, can you believe I'm a millionaire? She's like, Michael, I always believed in you. I'm like, you believed in me when I didn't believe in me. Isn't that powerful? She's like, I always knew you would make it. You're resilient. You're persistent. You've always been focused. No matter what you do, you've always had to be the best. I'm like, I can't believe I'm a millionaire. Like, I can't believe it. $100,000 a month. It was just insane for me, just so you guys know. When I opened up my back office one day and I saw that I made $107,000, I was like, oh my God, what do? You call your best friend. It's what you do. I'm just going to tell you ahead of time. When it happens, should it happen for you, you call your best friend. Here was the problem when I called my best friend. A year ago, he was in the business with me. He quit. So I wanted to share my jubilance with my best friend. But you got to understand his perspective. He wasn't as excited about the $107,000. Crazy story. I didn't know why. I didn't take time to think about it. Now I know why. I'd have been pissed too. I said, Tony, open up my back office. I said, go here, go there. And he did. And he looked at he goes, what does this mean? $107,939. What does this mean? I go, that was my check. He goes, what check? I go, this month. He goes, silence. I'm like, Tony, did I lose you? Tony, you there? Yeah, I'm here, bro. Isn't it amazing sometimes the people closest to you can almost want to steal your dream from you? Isn't it hard to believe that the people closest to you wouldn't be excited for you if that was your story? But I learned something really, really powerful, and I'm borderline training you right now and teaching you right now. I learned that sometimes the people closest to you, if they're not on the ride with you, they're not as excited about it as you are. I learned a hard lesson. The next day, you know who flew to town? My best friend. That was a Saturday training. We had about 300 people in a room at a local hotel, and he got in front of the room, and he shared his experience of opening up my back office the day before. He said, I was here a year ago when this company was sputtering, and there was challenges, right? There's going to be challenges in all businesses. The challenges were too tough for Tony in year one, not for Michael. Because I said, I won't be able to live with myself when these challenges are gone if I'm not still on this ship, right? So no matter how hard it got for me, I was still engaged and still pushing forward. That's why the people that make it are the people who persist. Simple as that. If you've ever made it in life, you've been persistent. I don't care who you are. That means you rode the wave when it wasn't so good and you made it through the muck. So guys, I share a little bit of my personal story to let you know this. I've personally done this before, and I'm elated to tell you that it looks, smells, and feels just like the last time. And I've taken it from living rooms to ballrooms filled with hundreds, thousands of people. And it starts with a group right around this size right here. So I'm painting a little vision for you today. We are going to be the organization. We won't be the only organization, but we will be the organization inside of this company that takes this to millions of people. The goal we have, our mission here as a group of people, is to create a culture that builds wealth. And we spell wealth like this. Greg, because it broke something. No, I didn't break it. Something like that. Can you guys still hear me out there, Facebook? And you know what's cool about today? There's a bunch of you here today, but there's also literally going to be hundreds, if not over 1,000 people that watch this live or somewhere in the country. There we go. To create a culture, thank you, Craig, that builds wealth, has fun, and helps people through a super simple duplicatable system. That super simple duplicatable system is what Richard Call taught me, and I get to teach you. I get to teach another group of thousands of people how to build a business like this and do it in a way where it's nothing like what you thought this business was. You don't have to annoy friends and family. Be a pro. We're going to teach you how to do this like a pro. That's it. That word wealth right there, that's spelled wrong, isn't it? No, it's not. That's intentional. That word popped in my head years ago. I said to myself, if I wake up every day and I work on my health and my finances, my wealth, that's really, I think there's two questions that go on in everyone's brains every single day. Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I'm just the oddball in the room. I'm always concerned about my health, number one, and then, God, I wish I had some more money. Anybody else with me? Does this go through anybody's mind here? Okay, on a daily basis, my thoughts say, I wish I was a little bit leaner, lighter, healthier, more fit. I'm 45. And God, I wish my bank account was a little fatter. So I was leaner over here and fatter over here. I want to be wealthy, right? I want wealth. That's the word that was in my mind over 20 years ago. And I didn't trademark it yet, but Craig thinks we have a shot at trademarking it, so we might do so. So guys, we're gonna take just a quick, we're gonna turn on some music, and we're gonna take a quick 3-minute break. And we want to let you guys know that everything we do here is intentional. We have a system to take this from where we are today into rooms of hundreds of people in Vegas in the coming months and build the biggest organization the world's ever seen, but build it with a group of people that have integrity and ethics and morals and values and honesty and no hype, no hyperbole, no BS, just a real business with a real product with real people sharing a real message and creating something really, really cool so we can have a lot of fun, build wealth, and create a culture. So we'll take a 3-minute break, right? And then I'm excited for you because I'll open up the training, but you're going to hear from 3 people who have been duplicating and killing this business. Thank you very much.
We are Facebook friends. We have 30 people in common.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Did you just check?
No,
Oh.
I checked the other day when Mike Wise, that's who I met. You
Oh, okay.
You told me your name. And I went on there and I just told him yesterday. I texted him. I said, did you know that Ricky and I have
cool is that?
almost 30 people in common? Yeah, so those are 30 people that I'm not going to bring on because you already did.
No. On the contrary, I'll tell you what. I have a database of about 10,000 people.
Uh-huh.
I've only been able to get to maybe 100.
Yeah.
I guarantee the 30 people you know, I haven't shared anything with.
I've got 5,000 Facebook friends because I ran for public office.
Oh, right on.
So I was being that the 30 that are yours. Oh, thank you, thank you. So that the 30 people, that was like a big deal because I got 4,800. So I was
No. As a matter of fact, the first thing I want you to do is you and I should set a lunch appointment with those 30 people.
Okay, absolutely.
And if I didn't enroll them yet, you enroll them.
Okay.
But since we're already friends, why not?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. The other thing I was going to tell you, the other day I met Lee of Lee's Liquors, who I've seen on the commercials.
As I'm talking about the liquor store.
The liquor store.
Sorry, Lee.
And so it was, I really wanted to meet him and everything. It was really great to meet him, but there was an ick factor.
There was a what?
Ick factor. Ick. He's killing people with alcohol.
I know.
And he was so polite and pleasant, was a nice man, but there was still that ick factor.
I feel that.
Hi, everybody. We'll get started here in 5 minutes. In the meantime, enjoy the room.
Change
Don't worry, everything is Apple. Everything is Apple. Yeah.
And you still don't get a discount. I know.
I get a discount. You can get 25% off. You can get 25%. They won't give any more than that because they're great. The Apple Blues are selling out of the world. So we can get this handed
That's cool. Okay, guys, ready?
Oh my god, you and Mike and I have
And so she realized, hey, let me give you my number.
He's been in this house for almost $6.
Yeah, she's 4 years old. She's beautiful. You look at her and think with all the kids, after this girl's got to be She's so many kids, she's just like, I got it. And all her doctor friends, I love it. And so she, and then when she got married, I had to walk her to me. Literally,
Because I get a text message to reply right away.
and then she came back to the office, gave her the results and all that, and when the phone was, she put the date in, and then she heard about it legitimately, and she was he's the head guy that sits on the board for us. He's the person who's put all this together after 25 years. We're going to do this together. We're going to make it the best we can do.
Okay, guys, you ready?
Make it better.
No, 2927. 11.
All right, everybody, we're going to start Teach and Teach. Fun part. Let's go. You can take your seats. Badging is fine. Do your thing. It's all good. Cool. This is amazing.
Likewise,
I love this. Really appreciate it. I was going to open the room before, but I was a little agitated, didn't have my coffee, so I apologize about that. Now you've seen it. That's pretty cool, right? I'm Mike Wise. I'm an energy healer. So I work a lot with energy, a lot with, feeling people's energy. And I think that's really important, and that's why I'm opening this second part. It's because it's really important on the participation of the audience, too. So I'm going to show you a little example of how energy really, how energy affects people up here. So Mike, if you come up here real quick, turn back that way to the wall, put your arm out.
Better not be a joke.
It's not a joke. We're going to hand behind. All right, so put this one down. This one, we don't need one. So what I want you to do is I want you to show, and this is going to be muscle testing. Anybody know what muscle testing is? Awesome, that's cool. I like that. So those of you who don't know, muscle testing is a way that I can get a positive or negative answer from energy, right? So here we go. So what I want you to do is I want you to show all the love that you can. Direct it at Mike. Right now. Just show love to Mike. Woo!
Love you, Mike. I want more love than that.
Show more love. We can do better. Awesome. Now here you go. Thank you. Now send a little something. So if somebody's talking up here and they might be talking about something that you necessarily don't like, so direct that to Mike now. Think about it. Something that you don't like.
It's hard to do.
No, we
I
don't
know.
want to.
Your gray shirt. I can't stand your gray shirt.
He's getting weak. He doesn't like that. So what does that tell you about his energy? Your energy is actually affecting the speaker up here. That's powerful. So it's huge. That's huge. So send him some more love. So that's amazing. So yeah, your energy's huge. Our energy's huge. And that's very powerful. And it's a collective. We're giving energy to Mike. We're giving energy to me. I can feel your guys' energy. It's awesome. I'm shaking. I got goosebumps.
That's literally feeling the energy.
That's literally feeling the energy.
Yep.
That's showing that energy
Physical
is
manifestation.
physical. That's right. It's huge. So I really appreciate that. So every time we have a speaker, especially with Super Saturday, I think it's really important that we show a lot of energy, a lot of love to the people in front. We're just going to rock it, right? Cool. Thank you so much. I just want to do that, right?
I'm the one.
Set up and down.
So if you're taking notes, write this down. It's in the manual. Almost.
It's
Energy's
all-
caught, not taught.
It's in the manual.
Energy's caught, not taught.
Oh, it's in the manual.
That's actually called a blueprint. So guys, I'm gonna introduce Craig properly so you guys know who you're in the midst of here. But when Craig and I met the first day, everything's a story. When Craig and I met the first day, it was September 28th. I met him and his wife. And we spoke for 4 hours. I was on the eve of going to see Ron Williams with my dear friend Hallie Gillen. And we were just going to go shoot this guy full of holes. That's what we were going to do. We were going to ruin it for all of you. Because think about it, none of you would know about this if it wasn't for that day. And that day, none of you would be in this place right now if it wasn't for that day either. Now there's power in this, and it's a long teaching. We'll do it a later time. But when Craig and Ipek and I met, we stood there, and when he says we geeked out for 4 hours, that is not true. He geeked out for 4 hours. that would mean that I was part of the geek process, which would not be true. Because although I know a little bit about health, wellness, and nutrition, I don't have a doorway to my pantry or a closet over there with every fruit and vegetable on it. Yeah. I mean, if you look around this place, like, yeah. So I know a little bit, but Craig totally like geeked out. And you know, I wasn't trying to close him or pitch him. Quite frankly, I didn't even know if I was going to like this DNA company. So when I was talking to him, it came from a really pure, sincere place. I said, tell me what you would ask a CEO of a DNA nutrition company. And Craig is knowledgeable beyond knowledgeable when it comes to everything health, wellness, nutrition, you name it. From the air you breathe, to the water you drink, to the food you eat, to where you get the food. I mean, he can ask you questions that'll just make you go crazy. So he's given me all these answers, all these questions. And that next day, I said, if you had to give me some questions I can ask him, what would those be? And he gave me 7 questions. And I had them on a piece of paper. And when I sat in front of the CEO, because I always think outside the box. I think one of the reasons why I do well in a business like this is because I'm always thinking. I'm always feeling, but I'm always thinking too. I wanted to figure out a way to make this a really great experience for him, even though he's not going to St. George, Utah with me. Does that make sense? So what I did was I flipped open my phone and I recorded every one of Craig's answers with the CEO answering it. I said, Ron, say hello to Craig. Hey, Craig, how you doing? Ron Williams, nice to meet you. Hey, Ron, here's the first question. Okay, Craig, hey, that's a great question. Where do we harvest our ingredients? Where do we get them from? We've got relationships over the past 30 years with some of the biggest farms in the world that have organic or wild-crafted ingredient. He educated us on the fact that organic isn't really what it's cracked up to be, blah, blah, blah. And his answer's 7 in a row. I got them all on video. Why? Because I'm not smart enough to answer the questions back later. Serious, truth be told. I knew that coming home, if I called Craig and said, okay, here was the answer to question 1. Mike Zappia's version? He ain't listening. So I would sound like a bumbling idiot the way I did the night before about nutrition. But I knew if I could create Ron answering the question right from the horse's mouth, the CEO of this soon-to-be DNA massive company, do you think it would be better if Ron answered the questions or Michael? So I'm thinking outside the box always. So I edified Ron, and then all of a sudden, on the way home, as soon as we got reception past the gorge there in St. George, Craig got video after video after video, and Ron answering every one of the questions. That day planted a seed with Craig and Epek, and they both looked at it and went, whoa, this guy knows his stuff. This might be huge. Holy cow. So it took Craig and Epek about 5 months to make a decision. Let's hope it doesn't take any of you that long. But what they wanted to do as experts in nutrition, and seriously, before you leave, one assignment, open the pantry. Craig, open the pantry. Let everyone look at, seriously, this looks like no one else's pantry in the world. There are literally grains and ingredients and vitamins and minerals and flax seeds and this kind of seeds and that kind of. I wouldn't know what to eat in this house. I know I'd have to put everything in a blender. I'm sure of that. Yeah, we blend a lot. That's a cool name. So here's what I'm getting at. You're in the home of 2 people that know a lot about nutrition. I'd venture to say more than 99.99999% of the world. So when I planted a seed with them, and it took them 5 months to finally come to the table and say, okay, we're ready to go, that's okay. I'm willing to plant those seeds. Because once 2 people like that make a decision to do something like this, your business takes off. They're serious entrepreneurs. He's already the owner of a direct sales organization. She has one of the most brilliant minds out of any woman I've ever met, any person I've ever met. This woman takes notes. Can I see your journal real quick? One of them. Can you grab one for me? I want to brag about our leaders here, because these are 2 of the top leaders in the whole company. Watch this. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. When Epek first started to work with me, I gave her some assignments. She watched every single basic video on teamu.biz that night. I wouldn't even have watched that many videos of myself. But she did. She called me back the next day and she got it all done. This is how she takes notes. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life? Like, I've never seen this. This is like calligraphy.
I have gotten to color pens.
Hey, 5F, Zappia. I'm right on there. I'm in your notebook. So anyways, they're 2 amazing people. They're 2 of the top leaders, quite frankly, in this whole company. They now have hundreds of people in their organization. In the next 4 months, that's going to grow to thousands. And I just want to let you know who you're working with. You're working with 2 of the finest people in the city. Craig Goldberg.
what do you say after that? Thank you, right? Look, Michael's incredible. Thank you for everything that you just shared, Michael. I know it's from the heart, and I appreciate you. And yeah, we take our health and our wellness more seriously than most. And now we're in my house. I'm not in a place where I'm talking about what I do, but instead you can actually look in our pantry and see that my wife is the most organized human being on the planet. There's literally labels on every light switch, like that didn't come with the house. Like, well, we can talk about diet and nutrition, and we can talk about the quality of the ingredients, and that was really important to me, and I'm very much willing and able to have that conversation. I think it's an important part. There needs to be at the core a product. But I believe that people follow people. If you're taking notes, it's a good thing to write down. People follow people. And the reason I'm sitting here before you is because of Michael. Not because he sold me on anything, not because he did anything more than showed up every day like the way that he is. And look, we're dear friends. He was over here last night until just about midnight. We had dinner tonight. We break bread. We hang out on a regular basis. Why? Because I love the guy. He's awesome. And I mean that. And the first 5 months that I was evaluating what we were doing, I wasn't actually evaluating what we were doing. I was just watching what Michael was doing. After I watched those 6 videos from Ron Williams, I gave him the green light. I was like, look, I agree with everything. I was telling you guys this when we sat down. Like, you watch the videos, I can play them for you. I agreed with everything Ron said. It was that simple. I have a very unique philosophy on diet, nutrition. I know I share that with many people that are in the room. And here's a guy who owns a pretty hefty company that's going to be rolling out a health and wellness company, and I agreed with what he said. That was enough for me. Timing wasn't right for me at the exact time, but that's okay. We evaluated and watched what they were doing here in Las Vegas, and now I spoke to Ron twice in the last week. And I'm happy to be guiding and helping and supporting where this company is going, frankly, so that you guys don't have to. What Michael and I do, and I'm going to show you what we work on a regular basis, what we work on day in and day out is resources that we're creating for you. You're going to hear from a number of people that are in the room tonight that I'm proud and a pleasure to work with that have learned alongside Michael what Michael's learned for the last 17 years and taught. He's taught us to teach, and we now teach you so that you can teach it as well. So the reason that I got involved, yes, it's a great product, and yes, I feel amazing on the product, and yes, it's doing amazing things for me, my friends, my family, and everybody that I share it with. That's great. Check that box. That's important. But ultimately, I'm sitting before you because of Michael and the demeanor and the way that he shows up and how reliable he is. Look, I show up. Every Saturday morning, you're going to be here, doors open, 9:30, with us teaching until we outgrow it, and by the looks of today, Michael, I think we need a bigger boat. And that's cool, because we have the places to go. Alyssa's place every Saturday morning has more than enough growth. The meeting space that we're going to for our big event next Saturday, more than enough growth. We'll continue to grow and we'll continue to spread this. I've also, like Michael, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen that happen. When momentum hits and we have 250 people at a Thursday night meeting, y'all are going to be like, whoa. I remember when we were 7 or 8 or what were we, 12, 15 people on Thursday night, right? I remember when we were 15 people, now we're 10 times that, 150 people on a Thursday night, and that place is packed. And we're there for an hour before setting up chairs, and like it's going to happen, and it's going to happen really, really quick as more and more people, because why wouldn't you want to share this with the people that you know, love, and trust? And as long as they see it the same way that you saw it, I think there's something there. What's really important is that you can't leave here and you can't scream at them about, I just found this most amazing. Don't do that. Don't be that guy or gal. And we're going to teach you today, and we're going to show you where you can find resources in order to do that. So, be the Fonz and just play it cool. Just like, play it cool, right? For the next couple hours, we're only going to go another 45 minutes, but when you leave here, play it cool. I'm working on something pretty awesome, and if you want to check it out, invite them to next Thursday. Invite them to link up with Michael, myself, whoever brought you in here. Have them talk to the person that gave you the information so that they can see the same information the same way that you saw the information, so that they might feel the same way that you feel. Because if you're just seeing this for the first time, you don't know that there was actually a formula to the information that we shared with you. And there's a blueprint that you can follow on I got up here, I told my story. We're here to teach, right? I started with, it's a 4-part presentation. Your story, company story, the product, and the plan, what we call the plan, how you can get involved. So my wife opened the room. She told you a little bit about the housekeeping, the bathroom's in the back, the cars are downstairs, whatever. We're going to be here for approximately 2 hours. We're live on Facebook, just letting everybody know what's going on. She introduced me. I told you my story. I introduced Shane. He told you about the company. He introduced Michael. Michael told you about the product. And he talked a little bit about how you can get involved. A simple 4-step formula. Are you going to be able to deliver that formula in the next 2 hours? Maybe not. Maybe you will. Maybe not. Maybe you might verbally throw up all over your friend. And that's not cool. Nobody likes being thrown up on, right? And you don't want to ruin relationships. You want to build relationships. So instead, the objective here is to not only keep all of the amazing relationships that you've built to date, but to find new ones at Starbucks and find new ones in different places. And we do that through a very systematic approach that is permission-based. And that's really, really important. Permission-based. Are you open to taking a look at what I'm working on? Because it's pretty awesome. Yes or no? Yes, I am? Great. I'd love to introduce you to a couple of my business partners. I'd love for you to come take a look. It's too important for us to go through right now. You could write all this down. Too important. Are you open to taking a look? These are really important concepts to grasp. Permission-based is really important. Michael, are you taking notes on the screen? Michael?
Yeah, you can see it right now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. These are... I love it. I love it. So as long as you know you're doing it, that's all good. So you can take notes like Michael's taking notes, right? So permission-based, it's really important. This is what will separate what we're doing and do it ethically and do it the right way so that you don't ruin the relationships that you have. I can't even tell you how often I'm introduced to people that ask me flat out, is this an MLM company? Because I don't want to be a part of that. And I feel bad for them. I really do. Because this is, for $40, you just started a business. I already know there's individuals here in this room that have spent thousands of dollars. I love you all. I already know there are people that have spent thousands of dollars to start their own businesses. No. I already know. Yeah! I love you all. I know there are people in this room that have spent thousands of dollars to start a business, and for $39 a year, you can start your business. Frankly, the barrier of entry is too low, in my opinion. I own and operate a company that makes and manufactures this technology. It took us thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to start that company. To invest in the technology, to buy the materials, to invest in the manufacturing process, logistics, tariffs, like shipping, international ship. For $39, you got a company that does everything for you. Barrier's too low. Too important, too big of an opportunity. So be very cautious how you start to share this and how you introduce it. And all I'm saying is get with the person who invited you here, pay attention and listen to what we're sharing today, because there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it, an ethical way to do it and a very unethical way to do it. And unfortunately, there are more unethical ways to do it than there are ethical ways. And there's a few people that do this industry the right way. We happen to be learning from somebody that does it the right way. And that's the reason why I sit before you today. And it's the reason why the next day after they met Ron Williams and they came back and they said, what'd you think? And I said, I love the guy. Everything that he said, I get and I understand and I appreciate it. And what did Michael do? You want to meet him? I said, yeah. So he linked me up on a 3-way text with Ron Williams. I didn't know who Ron was. I didn't know his background. I had to do research on him. I wasn't as familiar in the industry as Hallie and Michael were, and some of you others that have been in the industry. Ron's 28 years in the industry. He's got a reputation. People know who he is, and he's well thought of. But I didn't know who he was. So I had to do that research myself, and I told him, I like what he said. Like, if you're looking for me to sign off on something, because they were both sitting like, what'd you think? I said, go check it out. So they flew to Van Alsten. They checked out the infrastructure of the company like I did, and they basically hit the ground running. EPEC and I didn't get involved until April of this year. And actually, what was the date, Zap? You remember April what? That we registered the domain, Team U?
4th.
April 4th. So April 4th, we registered a domain called teamu.biz, which you can't see, but you will in a second. And I want to show you guys a few resources that we have available. I want to walk you through a little bit about where you can find some of these resources, because Michael has done a tremendous amount of legwork. We work on this on a regular basis. Last night we were on a conference call with our web development team. Michael invests his own dollars in order to make this resource available to each and every one of you. And it's really the epicenter of what we're doing. So I want to show you some of those resources because you might be so excited about this when you leave here and somebody goes, no, I just need to know what it's all about. Like, just tell me what it is. If somebody really puts pressure on me that they can't wait to meet Michael or to come to a Thursday night or to get on a one-on-one with me, I send them this website. And I introduce them to Michael before they, we're not looking at the website, but I send them this website. We're just looking at it on my iPad. It looks a little bit different on your computer. It works on your phone. And I tell them about Michael. I say, you're going to meet my business partner, Michael Zappia. He's one of the founders of Team U. He's been working directly with the CEO. He's been involved since the very beginning. When I found out about this company, 100 people knew about it. 100. There's 30 in this room right now. 100 people knew about it a year ago. When Michael found out about it 5 days earlier, probably half that knew about it. Pretty remarkable proximity, and when you really start to think about the chain of events that needed to happen in order for us to sit here. Really interesting. Path changes is an entire other concept that we look at as to who's changing whose path. So I welcome you to use this website. What you're going to find on this site that you won't find in this industry is these first words right here. On behalf of myself or the person who sent you to this website. Nowhere on this website can you enroll. Nowhere on this website can you buy anything. This website is strictly put up as a resource for each and every one of you, and all of the messaging is one of our power quotes. Get back to the person who invited you here. And that's really important. So 1 minute and 23 seconds of Michael in the studio talking a little bit about what we do, and then a business overview that took us 40, 45 minutes to do, Michael compressed into 13 minutes. It's actually pretty impressive that he did it as fast as he did it. What's really cool about this is included in here is the message that Chavez sent him. I listened to it over and over again because the verbiage was so perfect. Chavez basically said, I'm working with something that I think is going to be pretty big. I've been doing some consulting in the space. Based on the people that are involved, the timing of this thing, I think it's going to be pretty big. I'm not sure what you're doing, but if you're open to taking a look, again, permission-based, if you're open to taking a look, get back to me and I'll send you some info. I'm glad Michael replied and said, yeah, send me some info. Had he not, I wouldn't have found out about this. I think this, had he not called Hallie and our RV was not parked right out front, I might not be sitting in front of you and in this apartment with 30 people in my apartment. It's remarkable when you start to think about, anybody ever see the movie, I don't know, it might be dating, I think it's Sliding Doors, right? Where the one trajectory of her life, the one decision, and they show you in this movie the two different, absolutely remarkable when you start to think of path changes and what it means when somebody comes into your life and changes your path. Hallie's one of those people. Michael's one of those people. Many of the people that are sitting in this room today have taught me things that have changed the trajectory of my life, and I'm excited about my responsibility, and I don't take it lightly. And EPEC, we travel all over the country teaching. I'm not lecturing. I don't like that word personally. I'm here literally sharing things that I've learned, piquing interest, showing people where they can do their own research so that you can find and come to your own answer for yourself. I think that's really important. And my approach is always that when it comes to this company. I'm happy to share with you what we're doing, and you make your own decision if you want to get involved. Erla had to chase me across the room and actually say, I'm ready for that kit. Can I use that kit? I wasn't going to ask her for it. That's just not my thing. You see this information, you get taken enough by it, you're going to ask if you want it. And I'm glad she asked. So I think that's really important. We do have some of the corporate videos. Euphoria Science creates some of the most incredible content. They really are phenomenal at what they do. And the videos are made by John Moyer. Yeah. He's really fantastic. And then we got a couple presentations. Dr. Jen Myers she sits on our scientific advisory board, and obviously Ron Williams is our CEO. And they were at a batting cage one day. I don't know what the netting is back there, but they were, but they talked a little bit about what we do, and they got some really great info. So all of the different tabs, the university page is in the process of being revamped. But as you scroll down, you'll see the basics. In a couple days, this is just going to be the basics and the essentials. All of this other stuff is being moved to other parts of the website. But if I click on the basics, you'll start to see the fundamentals. And we're going to talk about this today. Why I share this with you is because we're in the process of literally writing out the entire blueprint. And we're going to show you that. Mike's going to come up and he's going to share a little bit about what the blueprint is. You're going to hear some lessons pulled directly from that blueprint. And what I want you to think about as you're listening, as you're taking notes, you saw the notes that Michael was taking, writing down the power phrases, and you're going to hear this, power quotes. You're going to hear us write them. Energy is caught, not taught. Use them, and use them verbatim. Plagiarism is legal here. Like, really. Like, duplicate yourself into us and literally do the same exact thing that we're doing. The same conversation that got you here, the same perspective, the same... You're going to hear it over and over again, and there's a reason for that. We want you to literally walk out of these doors and use the same verbiage. We're developing this language that becomes very powerful. And that becomes really, really important. So use the same language, and before you know it, people will be coming, and they'll be around us, and they'll realize, oh, I heard Christine said that. And all of a sudden, what you build in duplication is people start to realize that I don't have to have the knowledge and expertise that Erla, Josh, myself, you don't need that. It's nice if you learn and accumulate it, but the reality is all you need to do is follow a simple formula, use the same words, follow a simple process. If you walk out of these doors and you verbally throw up on a friend of yours and they say no, right? They were presented with a product and they chose no. If you're presented with a product and you do such a good job of explaining that product and they decide to get it, and you go into the science and the technology, just like I can, and I know I've done my research, I can tell you more than you need to know about the product process. If I go out and I do that to 50 people, I'll probably get, no joke, 40, 45 people to say, this is a great product, it makes sense. It's hard to poke holes in the logic behind what the product is. But if I do that, I'll get 40, 45 people that are using the product that look at this and go, I can't do what Craig just did, because they don't have the knowledge and the expertise that I have. They might look at this and go, oh, I can't do that. But it's really cool. I appreciate you introducing it to me, but I can't do what you just did. Instead, if I introduce them to Michael and I say, I want you to take a look at this amazing product that I just did, and I step back and Michael says, here's what we're working on, here's the product, here's the project. My friends now look at me and go, what did Craig do? Oh, he just introduced me to Michael, and Michael told me about the product. Can you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, right? Can you make a 3-way text message introduction? Can you say, hey, my friend Michael and my business partner's coming over here, and I'm real excited about what we're working on, and I'd love for you to hear from him? Absolutely. So we need to make sure that we're creating a duplicatable presentation, or we're sharing this in a very duplicatable way. And that's what we go through in the basics. And that's what we go through in all of the resources. All of these videos that Michael has created talk about this industry and talk about his 17 years experience in this industry. And I think this is really important. So we have a system. I want you to check out the system page. We have a playbook. Mike Chavez is going to go through some of this. But we've got everything basically laid out for you to take advantage. So the website is teamu.biz. And I welcome you to check out, we have a calendar of events. What's today? Today's the 4th. So right here, we're checking out, right, Euphoria Science. It's got all of the information, the public Team U, the Facebook pages, the links. Literally everything is here as a resource for you to pick up on so that you can literally hit the ground running. It took hours for us to produce this, lots of dollars for Michael to develop all this. I'm here to tell you that you are sitting at this, looking at this at such a perfect time for each and every one of you that you have these resources available to you, but you got to look at it, right? You got to be familiar with what's on the site so that you can share it and you know the resources that you have at your fingertips and you can at least familiarize yourself with what it's all about. That's what I wanted to share. I know we only have a half hour left. So teamu.biz, make sure you go through this website and check it all out. And I want to introduce you to somebody that I just started working with really 8 months ago. I mean, I only met him through this, and actually I was sitting with Michael watching him on Facebook Live. If Michael doesn't post enough on Facebook Live, this man posts even more. In fact, he goes live each and every day. He is the live master himself. Mr. Mike Chavez lives here in Las Vegas. He's got a beautiful family, beautiful children, an amazing wife. He's been building this business, working hand in hand with Michael under his tutelage, and he's built a pretty decent-sized organization, over 500 people, 600 people in your group. His organization spans all the United States, Canada. He's he's an incredible human being, and I'm really excited for him to take a look and share with you a little bit about the blueprint. And you couldn't be learning from somebody more spectacular, Mr. Mike Chavez.
All right. So how do you follow Michael and Craig? That's a good question, right? I mean, these guys have gone over quite a few things that I'm sure you guys have found very valuable. So the really, there's so many things that I could go over with you. And I think the basic reason that I'm here is just to tell you my story. And if you heard everybody that's got up here and talked, they told you their story. So, like Craig said, I've gone live on Facebook for the last few years. That's really where my personal development journey started a few years ago. I've been involved in network marketing, a few other companies over the last 10 years, and had zero success. And all the companies I was involved with, I didn't have any success. And I knew that I believed in the industry because I saw people making money. And one day I had an epiphany, I had a paradigm switch in my mindset that I realized that these people that I were seeing making this money, they didn't have anything really special. And the more I started working on myself, my personal development, I realized that the only thing that was limiting me were my beliefs. So a few years ago, I was trying to promote another company. And I got involved with this weight loss company, and the lady basically recruited me by posting before and after pictures on Facebook. And so I met up with her, and you don't know what you don't know. And so at the time, I didn't know that was spam, and people didn't want to see that stuff online. And I signed up, and I got in like 200 or 300 groups, and I started doing what I was taught. And didn't have any success at all. People were actually getting mad. People were blocking me on Facebook. My Facebook account got shut down. I literally had to mail a copy of my driver's license to Facebook to prove that I was a real person. And so the silver lining in that cloud is that because I was in so many groups, I found a group that was talking about Facebook Live videos. And it was about 6 months after Facebook Live videos had come out. And I realized that what I was doing wrong. And I realized the power of relationships and the leveraging, social media to do so. So I started doing Facebook Live videos. I did an original challenge that was for 90 days. I was live on my page every day for 90 days, and people started watching me, and it was awesome. After about a year and a half, I built a group. And so I went 90 days, 90 days, a year, 6 months, a year and a half, and the 27th of this month will be 3 years. Every day I've gone live. And what happened was as I was building this community online and people were starting to watch me, they started asking me questions. How are you doing this every day? How are you being consistent? Like, this is crazy. How are you doing this? And I didn't know how I was doing it. I really didn't. I just knew that there was something out there for me. And I had literally had people coming out of the woodwork online because they saw me doing all these videos, trying to sell me everything under the sun. I have this funnel. I can build you this website. You could do this program. You could make so much money if you just leverage what you've done. And it's really hard to trust people online. It is what it is. It's a difficult space to work in. And so I met somebody finally. He's sitting in the room. His name's Trenton Samley. He's over there videoing us. And I started working with Trenton. Trenton has been in social media. He knows what he's doing. He's a guru, so to speak, for social media. I found somebody I could trust. I moved out to Vegas. I started working with him. And we were on a path to build something to teach people to step out of their comfort zone and find some confidence and put their face out there and connect with people. And one day Trenton reached out to me and he said, I just went to this meeting and I met this guy. You got to meet this guy. He's starting this new company. It's unbelievable what they're doing. I said, Trenton, stop. We're doing our thing. I don't want to get involved in another thing. And he said, no, you got to meet this guy. So the guy was Michael Zappia. So I ended up meeting Michael. I was getting ready to leave town for 6 weeks to go to Europe, and Michael wanted to meet me before I left. He planted that seed before I left, and I was gone. I was overseas, and I saw what was going on back home because I was watching online, and I saw everything starting to take off. And I said, I got to get in on this. So I tried to sign up when I was in England, but it wouldn't let me because it recognized my IP address, and so I ended up signing up over there. I came back home, and I started getting involved. I started plugging into this system that in this blueprint that I've been learning over the last year. And This system is amazing. We have calls Monday through Friday at 7 o'clock in the morning. On Sunday, we have a training call, a team training call where the team gets together. Every Saturday, we have this meeting, a presentation, and this training. So I started plugging into the system, and I started learning. And when this blueprint came out, it was just everything on paper that I've been learning over the last year. And a few years ago, when I started doing my videos, and before I started my personal development journey, I had never read a book cover to cover in my life. And I've over the last few years, I've read quite a few books. I listened more, I think, than actually read, but I've read more books in the last 3 years than I've ever read in my life. And just to tell you, when this came out, and because I've been learning it and I've been involved with it and I've been plugging it and I'm a part of this, we went to a cabin and we masterminded and we did a retreat and we went up there and we did a vision statement and a mission statement, and some of my thoughts and ideas are in here, and I'm in the pictures, and I'm like, wow, I'm a part of something that's bigger than me. And that's what's awesome about this team. I was thinking about, Craig was just touching on duplication a couple of seconds ago, and one of my biggest problems that I have online that I'm just realizing is people like me because I show up and I'm consistent, and I don't promote this online in my videos when I do my videos. I build that relationship and I reach out with them, but when I reach out to them, what I'm realizing one of my biggest problems is what I do every day on video is not duplicatable. People, they look at me and they say, Mike, I can't do what you do. So I say, I understand that. And when I got involved, I couldn't do what I do. That's why we have Team U. That's why we have a system. And I love the saying that people are not duplicatable, but systems are. Yeah. And here's our picture right here where we were. We went to this cabin and we watched the movie The Founder. If you guys have not seen that movie, you should definitely check it out, because the correlation between the way franchising begun, the way Ray Kroc established it, and the way that the network marketing profession is today is crazy. Because if you're not aware, back then, before McDonald's became McDonald's and had all these franchises, franchises had a negative connotation to them, kind of like network marketing, maybe some people might think today. And the reason why is because people were investing hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy these franchises, and they were losing their ass and they weren't making money. Why? Because they didn't have a system. And Ray Kroc is the one that came along and created that system. And that's exactly what we are doing. We're setting the gold standard for network marketing professionals globally here with Team U. So that's really what I wanted to share with you. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's great. And I kind of remember this movie too, if I'm talking to anybody that may have a bad taste in their mouth about network marketing, I tell them about that story, because we might think that McDonald's is in the hamburger business, but you would be wrong if you thought that. They're in the real estate business. Did you know McDonald's is the largest real estate holder in this country and parts of the world? Because the way they franchise it, the way Ray Kroc set it up. You can learn more about that in the movie. But I just wanted to come and tell you my story about when I got involved, I was looking, but I wasn't looking. I was looking for a mentor. This has always been my dreams. When I saw those other people walk across the stage with these big checks, and they weren't anything more special than me, I said, I can do that. If they could do that, I can do that. Right? I mean, you just heard what Craig said about, I have an organization of almost 600 people. I'm just an ordinary guy, but I know I'm doing something extraordinary. So plug into this system. There's so much support, and a goal really should be for anybody that's involved in Team U is to get to the next retreat that we have. Because like I told you at the beginning of my story, I've been in the online space for a few years, and I've had people offer me money to do this and do that, but to teach and stuff like that. But I have integrity, and I don't want to just go out there and charge people a bunch of money. I have more faith in this system and this team than my own ability to go out there and create something. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to duplicate it and roll with it. So thanks for letting me share. Oh, who's next? Who's the next speaker? So am I going to introduce the next speaker? Or are we done?
We'll figure it out.
Okay, all right. Thanks. Appreciate you, man.
I don't know how we're going to do the dice in such a big room. All right, we can do that. I think you want to do it on the floor. We want to do it on the table. All right, we got this. All right, well, give it up for Mike Chavez. It's not easy to stand in front of 30 people. I'm a Toastmaster. I've been doing this for a long time. Mike is on Facebook Live literally every single day, and he's delivering content that is like highly usable. If you're not familiar with Live Masters, check it out. It's awesome. No, it's really phenomenal to watch you do what you do. Look, a lot of what we talk about and teach here, Mike talks about. He does it in a way that's not framed around what we do, and there's a really good lesson there. We don't want to be the people. There's a specific term, you can write it down, it's called burning the field. You do not want to burn your field. Burning the field is putting a post up on Facebook like I'm working with the most amazing nutraceutical company and it's DNA-based wellness and you got to take a look at it. We're running specials right now and you got to buy now. How many people have ever clicked on anything your friends have done and bought in that particular setting? Let the record show there's not one hand except for one in the back. I love supporting my friends also. It's just not really the best approach. And what I think Mike does a really nice job in what he does is he talks about what we do without talking about specifically what we do. And that's a really good lesson. Engage with people on social media. Social media, and I know there's some specialists in here that this is what they do. Mike, Trenton, these guys are phenomenal on social media. So is Michael Zappia and several other people that are in the room. And it's really important that we don't use that the wrong way, because there's a way to properly engage an audience. It's nothing more than your network. And use it as an opportunity to engage and connect with people around you, and use it as an opportunity to share what you're enthusiastic about, maybe some research, maybe some science, but pull it to an offline conversation and pull it to a real connection in person, because it's kind of a lost art, especially with the young people today. High tech, high touch is what we do, right? High tech, high touch. So by all means, use social media. I've got social media platforms on all of the big ones. Shoot, we've got 3 Instagram accounts right now that we run. So I get it. I can appreciate it. But pull those relationships offline. Anytime somebody reaches out to me on LinkedIn that I don't know, it says right there in my profile, I only connect with people I know. Send me a message. I'd be very happy to connect with you. I love meeting people. And people send me requests, and it says, I want to pitch you a product. I'm sorry, it says, like, I really want to get to know you because our business, maybe we can do business together. I'll reach back and I'll reply, and I'll say, great, let's connect. I can't even tell you how few people actually reply back with a date and time for us to connect offline. They instead want to send me a video. They want to send me something about a product. They want to send me something. So all I'm saying is let's do this differently, and let's take a little bit of a different approach. Cool. I'm really excited to introduce our next speaker, our last speaker for the day, and then I'll come up with some closing thoughts. Ms. Esther Powers. She is absolutely fantastic. Oh, hold your applause. Let me tell you about this wonderful woman first. She's absolutely fantastic. First of all, I don't know how, she's been in this industry for a very long time. She's been a student. I know you've been friends with Michael for years, and I know that this is not the first time that you've worked with him, and you've seen what he's done in other places, in other companies. So this is somebody that has, and I mean this very, very clear, she is one of the most unique people I've ever met. And I mean that. I know her very, very well, and she is an absolute pleasure to be around. She is a perfect mirror and reflection for how we show up in this world, and I mean that quite literally, actually. She is unbelievably intuitive. She is a wonderful speaker, and I'm excited for her to teach you a very specific lesson out of the blueprint, which I'll pull up in your background as you're doing it. For those of you that are in the back, you may want to stand up and make sure that you have eyes on this particular counter. I'm going to move the camera over there, and we're just going to clear a little bit of space as Ms. Esther Powers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you this.
Thank you. I'm so excited to do this one. To me, this is such a fun way to show why network marketing. Why? Why is it a $382 billion industry? Why does it keep growing? How does this work? So the blueprint has very specific instructions how to do this, and I like to be duplicatable, and reading off the instructions is very duplicatable. So even though I have done some review of this, I'm going to keep this handy to see if I can stick with what's behind you without looking behind me. Okay. Thank you. So we're going to talk about the difference between linear income and leveraged income. So most all of us either do or have worked for linear income. Who can tell me what that means? What does linear income mean? Anybody? Who's that hand? Yes. Fernlyn.
You go into work, you have a set of hours, and that's what you pay for.
Yes, absolutely. Exchanging time for money, basically, right? I do a job, I get paid. Technically, linear income is designed as work income. So my story, a piece of it, is the industry I sort of landed in 23 years ago that I've become an expert or master in is mortgages, home loans. So we do work for commission. That's not an hourly based or salary based position where you might go to work for 6 hours and get paid a certain amount of money. I have to make a sale. So every day I go to work, and a 6 is going to stand for I took a loan application today, or I closed a loan today. Yeah. All right? So we're going to do this 5 times, Monday through Friday. You really work 7 days a week in that job, but we're going to do 5. Monday, no sale. Tuesday, no sale. Wednesday, hey, woo! Yeah. I get paid in 60 days. Maybe 120. Yeah! Ah! All right. Big week, big week. Okay, 2 sales that week. Not bad, actually, in my industry. That can easily get to an 80 or 80,000 a year, maybe $100,000 a year income. So now we're going to talk about leveraged income. Who wants to define leveraged income? Wow. Okay, well, you're all here. You all understand network marketing, and no one wants to define it. Yes?
Leveraging the efforts of others?
Yes, sir. Leveraging the efforts of others. So we'll take this business. I enrolled last December. I'm just past my first year, even though I heard about it that first week, just like Craig and Hallie. Talked to a few people. Nahum was one of them, so I'm going to throw him in here. He's definitely a blue personality. My friend Krista, who's the only person I've ever met who has a pantry like theirs, is just far less organized. I open up her door and I say, well, you put these seeds with these seeds, and how do we do this? So she's in here. And then I'm going to add Debbie for kicks. So now we're all going to go after this together. Every time we make a sale in this case, someone else is joining the team. So I'm going to grab a new personality from my dice jar. All right, Monday, 1 sale, woohoo! We added a yellow. Tuesday, another one, go team. Lean on the team, lean on the team. Fell off the table, but it was not a sale. We got 3 new ones. All right, we're only on Wednesday. Wow, this is going a lot faster than my mortgage business all of a sudden. He quit. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
It happens. Keep it real. It wasn't for.
That is so valid. And you know, okay. Woo, 2 more people. Thursday. Wow, this is a great week. Go team. Now we got Josh and Tiffany working with us. Another quitter. I don't even know how many people joined that week. Did anyone count? What was that, like 12? I knew mine could count. So you can see the difference. And there's a little bigger difference here, which is because these folks we're working together as a community. We're all growing and learning together now. We are adding to each other's worlds. And so there's actually much more multiplication than just the sale. And every month it's going to continue. There you go. There's your dice analogy. Craig, one of my favorites. Oh, I almost missed something. Hang on.
Yeah,
this was the most fun part. So, end of the week, another month.
Yes, the best part. That's 100. Epec's like, yay, a mess.
I was so looking forward to that part. I was
Right?
so looking forward to that.
Can't wait.
I promise I'll get everyone.
We'll get them all. We'll get them all. We'll get them all.
There's only 100.
There's only 100. Somebody's got to count them to make sure they're all there.
Oh, I got this. Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome. That was awesome.
Loads of fun.
All right, we're almost done. We'll get them. We'll get them all wrapped up. If anybody finds any dice, they're Esther's.
No dice. Number 6.
Lucky number 6. All right, we're almost done here. Rome, Trenton. Give me a second. We're going to wrap up. Dates? Yeah, we want to talk about a couple things. Where's the iPad? Where's the iPad? So, where do we go from here? Cool. Yeah, we could start with that. I'm going to start with this one. Thank you, love. I appreciate you. Let's talk about Saturday. I don't know why that's so grainy, but yeah, there we go. Okay, so where do we go from here? So we have 2 events that I want you guys to know about, and then we have a series of events during the week as well. Do you need to be at every meeting? No. Am I at every meeting? Absolutely. I am in the process of grinding very, very hard at building this because I see the potential in it. And frankly, 12 months from now, I want to show Michael that you can outpace him because I have the tools that he created for us. You get that you could build a lot faster than the people that came before you by walking in their footsteps. So I have every intention of outpacing where Michael is. And 12 months from now, I want my family to be very well taken care of, and I want to find my own financial freedom. So I ask that you do show up, and if you do, you're going to find smiling faces and happy people that are here to teach, train, and educate on what we're doing and to do it effectively. So this Saturday is our Super Saturday event. It's literally right down on Rainbow. The address is right there. I can text this to anybody who wants it. It's also up on our Facebook page. Next Thursday and every Thursday night, we're downtown at Alyssa's house where we had a beautiful rooftop. If you haven't been up there, is it the best view in Las Vegas? Right? Like, it's a beautiful view. If for nothing else, come down. We do a shortened version of what we did tonight. We do a 40 or so minute presentation. It's great for guests. And then we'll teach for about 15 or 20 minutes, just the bare essentials of what you need to know to really hit the ground running and do it the right way. And then every Saturday, you're going to find us here, maybe for another week or 2 before we outgrow it, and we either go to the meeting place or we go to Alyssa's. But either way, Facebook page, plug in, take a look at what we're doing. Each and every weekday morning, tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific, we're going to be on Zoom. For 20 minutes, we do the skill sets and the tactical things you need to know each day of how to be successful in this business. You've got lots and lots of support. So get with the person who invited you here. If you want to know what the next step is, what the next event is, what the next happening is, just plug in, what we call plug in to win, right? Get plugged in with the people that invited you here. Ask them what's next. Ask them what you should be doing because, bless you, because you're in business for yourself but not by yourself. And I'm super grateful for you all to be here. You don't have to go home, but you can't. No, I'm just kidding. You can stay here as long as you want. We're going to hang out for a little while, and please do. And Michael, anything I want to add?
Yeah, talk about what we're going to do
where was that?
Saturday, Craig, so everyone can hear what we're going to unveil.
What are we going to unveil? So we're going to unveil a deep dive into the blueprint. As I put up, this is all of our schedule for the entire year. So all of our major events are planned out through October. And again, I can send you this as well. You'll see the Super Saturday events, and I'll talk about that. Team launch on the 24th and the 25th, our leadership mastermind, and the core labs. If you haven't been to our labs, our entire team is going to fly in and check out the labs. It's awesome. We're going to have a Super Saturday event just like we're going to do here on Saturday, but we're going to do it there. And a Super Saturday event is basically a 4-hour, it's an extended version of today. We'll do a quick presentation at the beginning, probably 25 or 30 minutes. And then we'll teach for 3.5 hours. We don't do food. We do a couple breaks just to kind of break it up and stretch your legs a little bit. There's coffee, there's hors d'oeuvres. There's no hors d'oeuvres, actually. There's coffee, there's tea, there's water. But it's really simple. We want to make sure that we keep this super simple and duplicatable. And that's really important. So a Super Saturday event, we're going to dive into the blueprint. You're going to see lots of leaders from around Las Vegas that are going to be in front of the room for 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. You might hear some testimony of how people feel on the product. The Super Saturday events are really geared for you to, from the beginning until the end, get a really good understanding of how to build your business. And that's what this is all about. You're in business for yourself, not by yourself. And the energy, we have 150 people in that room on Saturday. Whew, be awesome. Be awesome. Each and every one of you are going to walk out of there with the tools that you need in order to really rock and roll. We do some role playing. We'll make sure that you guys really understand exactly what you need to do. It's something you definitely want to bring a notepad and paper to. We have tables and desks so that you're writing and you've got your own little setup in your own little area. Bring snacks if you want a little bite to eat, if you need something from 10 till 2. We'll end pretty promptly. But we're basically going to go through the blueprint. We're going to go through the basics on the why and the how. So we've split the teaching into 2 main sections. Why we do this business is really important. And if you don't know why you do it for yourself, I have a beautiful pregnant wife and a baby that's on the way. I know exactly why I'm doing this business. Do my partners know why I'm doing this business? Absolutely. Michael knows very clearly why I'm doing this business. All of Mike Wise, Diamond Joe, Rome, these are all people, Christine, Ted, these guys are on my team. They know exactly why I do this business. And they know that they can get me anytime they need me because of my why. So we dive into the why of why we do this business, having a definite major purpose, having a definite plan, understanding persistence, understanding urgency. We go through some of the tools that are assigned around that, and then we go through the how. What are the systematic things that I need to do? How do I approach my friends? What do I say or what don't I say? Talk to more people. Say less to more people, not more to less people. Going through these different power quotes so that you can reiterate them, take notes, and understand around them. And as Mike Chavez has told me, there's an hour on each power quote when you really dive into it. So the longer we can spend together, the more time we can spend with one another, the better. And these Super Saturday events are opportunities for us to do that. So each and every Super Saturday event is about a 4-hour event from 10 to 2. Doors open at 9:30. Our liqueur fly-in is going to be a Super Saturday event plus a tour of our facility, which I know Farron is excited about. I'm excited to go back. It's right around our due date, which we'll see how that whole thing plays out. I know where my priorities are, right? Yeah, we'll just fly in, no problem. It's really clean there, actually, Peck. I hadn't thought of that. I mean, we're going to have a home berth anyway. I have an RV we could drive. All right, no, we'll stay here. We'll stay here. She was like, no, we're not doing that, actually. I don't know why that just turned off. But anyhow, we'll figure it out. Oh, I know why I did. The TV, yeah, there's a gray remote somewhere. Anyway, the fly-in event's on the 14th. All of the dates are up on our Facebook page. And thank you so very much for being here. Appreciate y'all. Bye-bye, Facebook. On time. Doing it.